Hi everyone, and welcome back to another barn blog. I'm Lizzie and this is my horse Mira, and today we're going to be going over everything you need to know about pulling a mane. So we normally pull our horse's mane for aesthetic purposes. They're either going to a show or a clinic and need to look more put together, or you're going to braid them, but there's also some normal kind of benefits to go along with pulling a mane too. It's easier to upkeep, and in hotter weather it keeps your horse's neck cooler. If you've never pulled your horse's mane before, you're not sure how they're going to react, I recommend not having them cross-tied, having someone knowledgeable hold them, just in case they were to react in a way you weren't expecting, and that way they don't get hung up in the cross ties or being tied or anything like that. I've pulled Mira's mane many a time, so I know exactly how she's going to react, so I'm not worried about keeping her in the cross ties while I do this process. Traditionally, you want your horse's mane to lie on the right side of their neck, especially if you're going to be showing, because that's the side you're going to have to braid on. If your horse's mane naturally lays on the opposite side, what you can do to train it to lay correctly is you can comb it over onto the right side of the neck and then braid it flat and let it rest like that for a couple of days, and that's going to help train the mane to stay over. So you can start at either the top of the mane or the bottom. I like to start at the bottom and work my way up. And I know exactly, Mira's really good about having her mane pulled, so I'm not worried about her freaking out or pulling back or anything. The length and the thickness of the mane all depends on your personal preference and what your trainer likes and what you like for braiding, if you're going to end up braiding. A rule of thumb is you want about a hand's width length. That's how long you should want it to be, around there. I have small hands, so I normally don't go as short. And different disciplines, the hunters, you're going to want a little bit of shorter mane for braiding. Jumpers, you're going to want a little bit of long because the braids are different. And the more you pull your horse's mane and more experience you get, the more you'll realize the preference of thickness and length that you like. So the technique for braiding, for pulling a mane, Mira, is very simple. So you're going to take your pulling comb, you're going to grab a section of hair, long section of hair. You're going to take your pulling comb, you're going to back comb up the mane like that, until you have a lot less hair. You're going to take those strands of hair, wrap them around the pulling comb, and then you're just going to pull down gently down the neck and then brush it out. And that's how you're going to change the length and the thickness of the mane. Some horses' mane comes out a lot easier than others. You just kind of have to find what works for you. And then you keep doing that all the way up the neck until you get to the desired length and thickness that you want. If your horse is not as good as Mira and doesn't prefer to have their mane pulled, a little trick that you can do first off is you can exercise them first. This is going to increase their circulation, and their follicles are going to open up, so their pores where the mane grows out of are going to expand, so the hair falls out easier. Also, you can do it in little sections, so a little bit every day while your horse is not too bothered about it. But yeah, and then you're just going to do that process all the way up the neck until you get to the length and thickness that you want. When horses have naturally a thinner mane and you don't need to pull as much, but you still need to shorten it, or just to evening out the lengths at the very end, my little trick is to get an old clipper blade, and you're just going to shear off the long ends. This way you don't have to resort to scissors to get to the length that you want, and you don't get that straight across kind of look. It's almost like pulling, but it's just a little cheat sheet if you have naturally a horse with a short mane, or you just need to get those little itty bitty hairs just to clean it up just a little bit. It doesn't need to be very sharp because you're just getting in those last little bits if you don't want to pull it anymore, or your horse doesn't like it to be pulled too much, or you have a really naturally thin mane. And that's about the finished product. Look. And remember, everybody has their own personal preference. Your trainer might like it a different way. Your trainer might have a different technique for you. That's fine. This is the way that works for me.